Are you ready?
Yes.
You may begin.
Okay, so imagine this. Your class is ordering a pizza for a pizza party, and everyone gets to vote on what the pizza's topping is going to be. Now, you've got a lot of options. You got pepperoni, cheese, sausage, veggie pizza, pineapple, and even anchovies. So after the vote, it kind of comes down to this. You got 8 votes for cheese, 6 votes for pepperoni, 5 votes for a veggie pizza, 3 votes for sausage, 2 votes for anchovies, and 1 for pineapple. Now, if the teacher decides to use the current United States Congress election system, you would be stuck with just a cheese pizza, nothing else. Now, that's fine for the 8 people who voted for cheese, but what about the 17 people who voted for something else? They want something other than cheese, and their votes essentially did not count. They get not represented. Now, this is just a small example, but it mirrors how millions of voters feel in the US every congressional election. And today, I would like to show you how this system fails us and why we need a change. I will explain the problems with our current system, how a proportional system works, proportional representation system works, and why it's better. And I'll explain how we can maybe apply it to something like the US House of Representatives. So first, let's look a little closer at that pizza example. Let's suppose it wasn't just one pizza, and let's suppose that this class has 10 tables that are each getting their own pizza, and each table gets to vote for their own topping. Now, in this situation, each table gets to elect one person to represent their vote as a table. At one specific table, the vote goes like this. You get 40% cheese, 30% pepperoni, 20% sausage, and 10% for pineapple. Now, once again, under our current system, cheese wins. Despite 60% of the table not wanting cheese, you get cheese. Now, multiply this by 10 tables, and suddenly the whole class ends up getting nothing but cheese. If you're lactose intolerant or just hate plain pizza, sorry, but you're stuck with just cheese. Now, think about what this might mean in the election. Every district in the United States elects one representative, or pizza. The candidate with the most votes wins, even if they don't get the majority, just like this pizza party. The preferences of millions of voters go unheard. Now, this system creates 3 major problems. The first one is wasted votes. Just at the beginning with that one pineapple vote, he voted for pineapple and he got nothing. And it doesn't matter what he voted for. Another example, though, would be the 8th cheese voter. Cheese won 8-6, so that 8th voter is not important, and they would have won with just 7. Now, a second problem is unrepresentative outcomes. Like the other example, 40% of the vote can go for cheese, and they can win with that. Cheese will win with just 40%, leaving 60% unrepresented. And you might have heard of gerrymandering before, but this is essentially where politicians can manipulate district boundaries to ensure that their party wins. Such as, imagine if the teacher intentionally divided up all the tables, so almost every table somehow has cheese, guaranteeing their victory. Now, let's imagine a fairer system for this pizza party called proportional representation. Instead of just one topping taking over the whole pizza, each topping gets a share based on the votes received. Now, this is in color, so it's a lot harder to see, but you got about 32% cheese, 24% pepperoni, 20% veggie pizza, 12% sausage, 8% anchovy, and then 4% of pineapple. And this way, everyone gets a slice they'll enjoy, and no one's left just eating crust. In elections, proportional representation works the same way. Instead of electing one person per district, it gets split up. Multiple representatives are chosen based on the percentage of votes that each party receives. If a party wins about 30% of the vote, then they get about 30% of the seats or the pizza. Now, there's countries like Germany and New Zealand who use a system like this, and it works pretty well. Germany also will combine using local representatives so that you are still represented on a local level. And New Zealand uses this system because they have a very diverse population, almost like the United States. Now, how would this work in the United States? So let's just specifically focus on the House of Representatives. Right now, there are 435 seats divided among single-member districts. But with proportional representation, there are 2 options. You can either A, make these single-member districts into multi-member districts. So instead of having 1 congressional representative for your district, you get about 10, and it's split up based on how everyone votes. But my preferred option is allocating all 435 seats based on the total vote share across the entire country. Now, this would be like a nightmare to count and figure out, but on a smaller scale, it is definitely more useful. And so here's an example for our current election, or our most recent congressional election. About 50% of Americans voted Republican, 48% voted Democrat, and 2 supported minor other parties. Under proportional representation, the seats would be split up about 218 to Republicans, 209 to Democrats, and 8 to the minor parties. And I know this doesn't seem like much, like this is kind of how it is right now anyways. But given the new system, it would give smaller parties a chance to actually grow their base and actually get a share of the vote and be able to contribute in Congress. And it completely eliminates gerrymandering. So why is proportional representation better? It isn't just more fair, but it also strengthens our democracy, and here's how. First of all, it allows for more inclusive representation. Just like everybody gets their favorite pizza slice, with this system, every voter gets a voice, which ensures that smaller parties and minority voters aren't left out. It also encourages higher voter turnout. When people know that their vote's going to count, they're more likely to participate. It also encourages collaboration. Let's suppose that the pepperoni and sausage voters wanted to work together to ensure that there's at least some meat on the pizza.
Yeah, about 30 seconds left.
And it also reduces manipulation. Like I said, in a system like this, it's near impossible for gerrymandering to occur. So in conclusion, our current system is like a pizza party, where one topping dominates and most people are ignored. Millions of voices go unheard, but under proportional representation, we have a better way, where every voice counts and our government reflects us. Isn't it about time that our democracy ensures everybody gets their favorite slice of pizza? Thank you. And my questions are, how might a proportional representation system change the political landscape in the US? Would it lead to more collaboration or more division among political parties? 2, what challenges would you guys think the US would face in transitioning to this sort of system, and how could that be addressed? And 3, if your vote always counted towards representation, regardless of where you lived or who you vote for, would you be more motivated to participate in elections? Thank you.